That's right, kids. It is another bonus hour. What a way to roll into the weekend. You get 4 hours of happy hour between Thursday and Friday instead of your normal 2. That's twice as much happy hour. It's like, it's near double. Isn't that near double, Casey? It is quite a bit. And man, I'll tell you, all the buzz around the Rose City, the Portland Fire are as cold as ice, man. You see what they did in the draft today?
Yes, I did. I got the full roster right next to me.
Oh, listen, forget the full roster. There is one thing that is sending out a message to the rest of the league. The Fire do not play around. You know what they did with their first pick?
Bridget Carleton?
Who is Bridget Carleton? Tell me more about Tell me what you know about Bridget Carleton.
She was a second-round pick in the 2019 draft at Iowa State.
Okay.
She's Canadian.
There it is, buddy. Where did she grow up?
Canada.
Where in Canada?
I didn't get that far.
Chatham, Ontario. Where is the only other team selecting in the expansion draft located?
Toronto,
Ontario. They literally went, I checked it, there are 3 Canadians in all of the WNBA. I don't know how many were drafted today, but they literally went, our player, the one that we're taking, is somebody that grew up in your backyard. Get out of town. Come on, man. You think she's happy about that? She's sitting there going, all right, I got a 50-50 chance of going to Portland, Oregon, or Toronto, probably where she grew up going to Raptors games, grew up loving basketball, and gets to the WNBA. Here's how I found this out, is I clicked the little link in the article of who they took with the number 1 overall pick in the expansion draft. It takes you articles about that player. The second article is, Bridget is excited to play in the first ever game. Apparently the Sky and the Lynx played a game in Canada. She was excited to play in the first one. She could have been the first player selected by the first Canadian team in history. No, Portland said, no thanks.
There are 3 other Canadian basketball players in the WNBA.
So she is number 4. Yes. Who else? Were they drafted today?
No, none of them were drafted today.
I hope Portland took all of them.
Kia Nurse plays for the LA Sparks. Okay. Aaliyah Edwards for the Washington Mystics. And Letitia Amihir plays for the Atlanta Dream.
I find this to be absolutely hilarious. And here's the thing, is the most disappointed person in this whole thing is probably the person you took with the first pick. You you took the opportunity from the 6th best player for the Lynx to go to the new Toronto team. I don't know if it's cold as ice. I think it's probably dysfunction, but that does not seem like the smartest thing to do. Oh, we evaluated her. She's good.
Cold-blooded.
You're both going to be bad for a little while. You're not going to let her go play for her hometown team. Come on, Portland. This is ownership that does not care about people. Wait, or is that Tom Dundon? Did we get a good read on that guy? Do you feel like you got to know him a little bit? So if you're just coming out of your ayahuasca deep dark retreat that you do every offseason after the Super Bowl, Tom Dundon introduced yesterday in the opening press conference. He is now your owner of the Portland Trail Blazers. We have some sound of this if you'd like to play anybody, but if you have the clip, when he was asked if he wants to be liked, there's a long pause.
Give me a second here.
I'm giving you a long pause. I said there was a long pause. I mean, I thought you were just playing it up perfectly. Were you not ready to dive right in? What, you just finished producing another radio show, and then you just had like a minute and a half to get ready for this one?
All right. Got it for you.
Tom Dundon, ladies and gentlemen. He's got it for us. Casey has it for us.
Which one are you going for?
Him being asked if he wants people to like him.
Do you care about being liked?
You know, it's in the list of things I care about, it's lower. But yeah, I don't think anybody who says they don't care what people think isn't telling the truth, right? Of course. But I think I care more about my character than my reputation. And I know what I do every day, and I want to win and achieve things without hurting anybody. And there's nothing about me that doesn't want to do the right thing. I do it every day. But if we have to trade a player, we're going to trade the player. If we need to make a decision that's best for the Portland Trail Blazers, I'm going to make those decisions. That doesn't mean I'm going to love doing it. I mean, everybody I know that has whatever that responsibility or burden is, struggles with the hard decisions, and I do too, and I don't like it, but I'll do it because it's best for the organization.
You don't get to be a billionaire and in position to buy a team if you're worried about what every person wants. Do you care what people think? Yeah, I'm sure that he has a very specific group of people that he cares what they think. I don't think that list is super long. I don't think a lot of those people were asking questions yesterday or listening to it. Some of those people were probably on that dais, on that board, on that table. But yeah, come on. I mean, that's a question. That's as good of an answer to that question as I think you can have. I appreciate the pause that he put some thought into it. But yeah, the idea that you don't care what anybody thinks is ridiculous. There's some people in your circle that even the worst of people care what they think. And their actions dictate that. So that answer to me was perfectly fine. How does that make you feel, Casey, as the biggest Blazers fan in this building?
I think I'm a little bit in both camps on this one.
Okay.
I think that, yes, I'm excited for a guy who's not willing, who's willing to have the tough conversations, and he's not willing to, I guess, hurt relationships along the way. I think that's what I took from that.
Yeah. Well, I get that, but I guess how would you I really care about what people think. The most important thing to me is what everybody thinks of me.
I think he answered that
you can't win
as
that
best
way.
as he possibly
can.
can.
I guess that's my point. It's a stock question. It's not the greatest question that you can ask because you can go a lot of different directions with it. But you're not going to. You're not going to tell hi, welcome aboard. Do you like it when people like you? Shut up. I don't.
And he's also, from what we've seen so far, he's not the guy who's like, oh, please like me. Please like me. I need you guys to like me. Or what am I going to do if the whole city hates me?
Yeah.
He'll be fine.
Yes, I think he'll be fine. Can I tell you what the most important thing that I read this morning when going back through all of the Blazers stuff in the sports news? Guess who just became the first Eastern Conference team to make it into the NHL playoffs? Carolina Hurricanes.
Look at that.
Yeah. Is he running everything right now there? There's been some transition where he's not the premier. He's the one that helped establish the winning culture there. That's what you're looking for. Doesn't mean that the Carolina Hurricane are the best team in the NHL. No, but they've been very good in his tenure. Winning has mattered. According to all the stories that we heard, when we first found out about this on this show, we played clips of the plans to increase the fan satisfaction is the best way to put it. But lowering food prices, making better options. The thing that he said yesterday that I liked the most was just getting into the arena.
I didn't grow up, set out, or intend to be in this position, so I want everybody to understand how lucky I am. It's the responsibility to make sure fans and the community are proud of what we do. And like I say, part of that's winning, but it's also how you treat your fans, how long it takes to get in the building, what the food tastes like. All these things are important, and I probably think about them more than most, and we won't stop thinking about it ever. We will continue to try to make the experience here great while we're expecting to win.
Last time I checked, Portland rains a fair amount in the winter. NBA season goes through the winter. I know it's just a small little clip of that. The first thing he said was how long it takes to get into the building. That's awareness. That's something where you are looking at it and go, all right, what is the experience? He didn't say how nice the Jumbotron is or how comfortable the seats are. A big part of the experience is the arrival. To me, that insinuates that the first time he goes to a game and sees what it looks like when the Winterhawks are playing the same night, or there's something going on at the VMC,
some sort of concert going on.
Well, yeah, I mean, just when it's a double billed night at the Rose Quarter, there's not enough parking. And when that's in the dead of winter and it's pouring down rain outside, a lot of the parking does not give you access to the underground passageways and just making it. It means that he's thinking about the moment you arrive until the moment you leave. That, to me, I mean, as a fan, I mean, what more can you want? He wants his team to win, and he wants you to have a good time. And if you have a good time, you're going to keep showing up even when they're figuring out how to win.
You can't ask for much more.
You can go through and go through all of the bank statements and all of that and try to project and figure out what it means and why is this person on the board and why is this and whatever.
But if you're worried about the product that you're giving to fans and the product that is out on the court, that's essentially what we need.
If you want to go out and create a bunch of problems by digging through all of the paperwork and everything that's involved, the money part, I don't know why anybody would be worried about it. It's just been vetted by the NBA. The NBA is currently working on an expansion plan that is going to require a $7 to $10 billion buy-in to get one of these new teams. Do you think that the NBA is really looking at this going, well, I think he might be able to get it. Give him a rubber stamp and let's go.
Well,
he might be able to afford it. Get out of here.
I bet with, the Chauncey situation, the Steve Ballmer situation, there is a little bit of pushback towards the NBA giving it that stamp of approval.
Well, that's what I mean. The NBA does not want them to fail. The other owners don't want them to fail. They are trying to expand this league. Say what you want about the NBA and the way that some of the changes they've made have worked. It certainly doesn't look as good as Major League Baseball, and all of their changes seem to be the right moves. A lot of the NBA moves have been meh. But they're trying. They're trying to figure it out. They're looking at it. The funniest thing is looking at the NFL, and I was kind of looking through this the other day, and there's nothing real substantial. But the rule changes. There's literally a big announcement for here's all the new rules for football that we'll have this year. I mean, the kickoff is bananas. If you told me in 1997, when I was a junior varsity punt and kick returner, that when I watched NFL games, they would not do the same kickoff, my head would have exploded. But they slowly make changes. They have conditioned us as American sports fans to expect there to be improvements and changes to the game. Do all of those work? No, and they'll scrap them right in the middle of the season. Baseball finally got on board, and the changes they have made have worked really well. And there was a lot of pushback because you can't change baseball. Dude, that pitch clock is awesome. The ABS, I've got a thing that we need to talk about a little bit later. I'll make sure that you watch the clip before we talk about it because it is awesome.
Is it Contreras?
It is not Contreras.
Oh, then send it to me.
Okay. Well, I'll need to double check on the Contreras one. But yes, it is very fun, the changes they've made to baseball. Basketball is trying to get it figured out, and it's not easy. Basketball is a lot more of a global sport right now, too. I mean, we had one of the owners on the press conference say that he bought it because China loves basketball. And they got a Chinese guy, and we love basketball. And I've got money, and why not? Am I going to be in Portland? Maybe. Be at Madison Square Garden when they show up there, or I'll go up, and if they're playing in the postseason, I'll show up there. Everybody's going to be excited about a winner. So you're telling me that panel, they're not from Portland? Oh, no. They're going to move to where? They're from everywhere. It's not like it's not like the entire group is from a town that is starved for NBA basketball. Man, I can't believe that they got all these billionaires from Pierre, South Dakota. They're all from the exact same little town. They've got billions of dollars. Okay, maybe then you look at it and go, we're going to be playing in the shadow of Mount Rushmore. I'm not worried about it. These guys are from everywhere, which means they're from nowhere, which means Portland's as good as anywhere. They want to have the history because it makes the team more valuable. The NBA does not want another situation like they had with Seattle. They've been trying to figure out a way to get them back, which included them stopping the idea of Sacramento leaving town. That was going to be the way to solve Seattle. A guy from Microsoft bought the Clippers. Did they move? They did not. Just stop inventing problems. You got new ownership. Does it mean that immediately things are going to change? No, it does not. Did he say that he's going to change as quick as he can? He did. I don't know what you want. You might as well. You can be pessimistic. It's really fun to do. Being pessimistic, it's a great time. Why not be optimistic about it? You got a team that went out and responded yesterday. Played real well. Beat up on a bad team. Let's go. I think it's a good move that they have an ownership group that I think represents a lot of different worlds. It was a cool panel. It was a good press conference. Get excited. The Blazers are going to accelerate the pace at which they try things. That means they might have some really, really bad seasons.
And now we just wait and see.
Yeah, well, I mean, look at Matt Ishbia. Dude, that guy is willing to try anything and try it quick. And it's real bad sometimes. But
maybe should have wore sleeves at that celebrity game.
Well, I don't think we need to get into that again. Absolutely, every man over 40 should always wear sleeves underneath their basketball jersey, especially if you're playing in a celebrity game. Well, you just brought that image right back into my head. I do not appreciate that. Not a nice thing to do, Casey Smith. Speaking of basketball, I don't know if you know this, but we actually have a Final Four this weekend.
Yes, we do.
It's kind of some good matchups.
Some great matchups.
And one of the alternate broadcasts going to be pretty fun. I think, maybe as excited about that as I've been about anything in college basketball because it returns to my youth. I'll tell you what that is, and we'll talk a little bit about the Final Four next. You're listening to a bonus hour of Happy Hour on 105.1 The Fan. All right, I'm not going to pretend that I love college basketball. I'm not going to pretend that I love college sports. I'm not going to pretend that I have followed this all season, but there is a little excitement for me getting ready for this Final Four. And I'll tell you what got my attention. Have you seen the plan for the alternate broadcast for the Michigan-Arizona game?
I have not. Is it going to be a Monsters, Inc. broadcast like they do with the NFL?
Oh, dang, that would be awesome. The traditional broadcast will be on TBS, TNT, and HBO Max. But you will get an alternate broadcast featuring the Fab Five. Do you have any idea who the Fab Five is? 24-year-old Casey Smith. Do you have any idea how much they changed college basketball and the way that we look at style and hoops and the whole thing, where it went from just coaches to being a players league where you had this great... Do you have any idea what I'm talking about?
That's the 1980 Michigan team?
Oh, 80?
What year was it?
How old do you think Chris Webber is? It is the 1991 recruiting class. Chris Webber, Jalen Rose, Juwan Howard, Jimmy King, Ray Jackson, all agreed that they're going to go to Michigan together. They became the Fab Five, long shorts, black socks, and they went to back-to-back national championships. Never won one, but they were the reason that maize and blue caught wildfire. My brother, I remember, was wearing Michigan gear, and it's 1991. I was 10 years old, so he would have been 12, 13. He was all in for the Fab Five. Somehow he was a Vancouver, Washington native, but he was a Michigan basketball fan and a Miami Hurricanes football fan and a Charlotte Hornets fan because their new gear came out. And was
the baby blue pinstripes that just come
the
out?
teal and purple, and Alonzo Mourning, Larry Johnson, and Muggsy Bogues on NBA Jam. You ever play NBA Jam?
I did back in the day.
Woo! It's pretty great. So the Fab Five are going to do it. Here's my question. What are the chances Mike Bibby shows up to that thing? Because that would be awesome. Bibby, of course, won a championship at Arizona and was a teammate of Chris Webber. I have to explain all this to you, I think, just so that you know. But
I appreciate it.
The team that went to the 92 and 93 Final Four, having a reunion, watching the game. I think college basketball could do with a little nostalgia. I think that there's a little bit of that because I remember growing up watching the tournament, being excited about it. I remember watching the Chris Webber timeout that he didn't have, that turned into, it's a whole thing. So to me, this is, I think, what the potential of all the streaming can be. I mean, we have all of these different services that right now are turning into a headache for the way that we watch sports. We talked about the Mariners this last weekend. They were on 3 different streaming services in their first 4-game series. That's a lot. It makes things a little bit challenging to figure out where to find your team. But that's the price of being one of the better teams. You get Friday Night Baseball on Apple TV. You get Peacock's Sunday night game. It's going to make it a little bit more difficult. But are you telling me that if I could turn on the TV and switch to an alternate broadcast where you get the home team radio call, the road team radio call, the home team video call, the road team TV call, having those alternate broadcasts, making it ease of use, the content's already out there. Just trying to connect it all together, to me, makes it fun. And watching the game where you're in the living room with the Fab Five and just listening to the way they're watching the game, to me, sounds like a pretty good way to do things.
It's like hearing them on the broadcast inside the stadium, except for now you're going to get those little stories that, this reminds me of the time that, back in the day when he did this, or when Chris Webber did this, or Juwan Howard did this.
The question is how much they're going to talk about the reason that this hasn't happened earlier, which is Chris Webber and the booster scandal throughout the relationship for 10 years. I think he was banned from any Michigan functions. So it is a little bit of a reunion. It's a little bit of a bearing some of the past. So the scandal is going to be kind of thrown out. So to me, it's going to be fun. But there are actual basketball games too. So Michigan is a 1 seed. Arizona is a 1 seed. You and I kind of talked through this already. I did a 2-hour cram session before I filled out my bracket. I ended up picking Michigan. Michigan and Arizona are 2 of the teams that I identified as teams that could win the whole thing because they're in the top 15 on offense, top 15 on defense. I like Michigan because they have the number 1 defense in all the land. That's how I landed on them as my champion in my bracket. Who did you pick? Remind me.
I picked Michigan in one of them. I picked Houston.
I said for the sake of this show. Can you?
I know. I picked Houston.
Thank you. Remind me. What are they in the Final Four?
They are not.
Okay. I also had Houston in the Final Four. So the Fighting Illini are the team that busted your bracket entirely, and the only Final Four team that I'm missing, because I also have UConn. Who's the rest of your Final Four? Did you have Arizona and Michigan?
Yes, I had Arizona and Michigan.
Okay. Did you have UConn?
I had UConn and Houston.
Okay. So we ended up basically having the same Final Four. So that is where we sit right now. Michigan is a slight underdog to Arizona, 1.5. Pretty close. Just looking at the little poll that ESPN does and puts up the graphic, they're at 51 and 49%. So that game, 2 1 seeds, expect it to be great. Both teams have obviously done everything they need to get here. The one that surprises me, Illinois is a bigger favorite over UConn, and I know UConn needed a ridiculous comeback to beat Duke in the Elite Eight to even get to where they are. But since when are the Fighting Illini this team that everybody thinks is going to kind of waltz their way into the championship game? I don't know if waltz is the right way, but they're the favorite both in the public polling and by the Vegas spread. So all of a sudden, Illinois, I don't know if it's just a matter of path or what it is, but how do we set them as a 3 seed and then they get there against a 2 seed and we've all changed our mind in 2 weeks of basketball?
What was the line when you checked it?
2.5?
2.5. So
Yeah.
it did go up. Because this morning when I checked it, it was at 1.5. So
Okay. Yeah. Well, I'm looking on ESPN right now. I've got Illinois, and the other thing too, I'm looking at their roster. I'm not going to pretend that I watched a ton of this, but I'm looking at their roster and all the articles. Like, where did they get all these European guys? I've got the twin brothers from Croatia, and they've got a Serbian. Then they got a kid from Champaign, Illinois, Naperville, Illinois, Tipton, Indiana. What's that? McCourtsville, Indiana. Like it's a bunch of Midwest kids and a couple guys from Eastern Europe. Don't tell me this entire roster is built that way. Like if you just look at it from 10,000 feet, they just brought in an entire pro basketball team from Eastern Europe. It doesn't exactly look that way. Now the twin brothers happen to be 7'1" and 7'2". So, yes, they have a big presence, and then they've got, like I said, they've got one other European player, but it's not like this entire roster is. But what happened in the tournament that I missed that all of a sudden Illinois is a favorite over a team that has won 2 championships in, the last 4 years? I mean, I know it's not the same roster, but didn't UConn win 2 years ago and the year before that?
Yeah.
Am I making that up?
They did go 1 of 18 in the first half of shooting against Duke.
Yeah, and they still, what was the result of that game?
They won that game.
So if you can survive 1 of 18 shooting and beat a 1 seed, don't you feel like that's probably not going to happen again?
I don't think a team like Illinois is going to leave a team hanging around like Duke did. But
Well, there's the most definitive preview you'll ever get of the Final Four. Sometimes I look at it and I just get so confused. I mean, could either team win the game? Absolutely. But everybody that's going to stand up and go, I know the result of this game, and I've decided. I don't know how many people had Illinois winning this whole thing 2 weeks ago when it started. I just don't remember anybody standing up and shouting that at me. And like I said, all I did was grab a handful of articles that said, here are the teams that are most likely to win the championship. Now, UConn and Illinois are 2 teams that do not fit the criteria of 22 of the last 23 champions, which is top 15 offense, top 15 defense. So can they win the whole thing? Of course they can. They're here at the Final Four. Is my logic going to be wrong? I borrowed logic anyways. I didn't make that stuff up. So just don't come at me and tell me that you had Illinois all along because you knew.
I didn't know.
Kind of rooting for them a little bit. Just anything that's chaos, but it's not like they're a 7 seed. It's a 3 seed. So
they're a 3 seed.
Go out and do what you got to do, boys. I am rooting for good games. I am genuinely excited about the Arizona-Michigan game. I have peeked in on both of those 2 teams play, and it should be a slugfest. So from 2 1 seeds there, one of them is going to get the benefit of playing one of these other teams. But as long as you get competitive games at this point, blowouts get real boring when there's only 1 game being played at a time in the NCAA tournament. We need to move on, though. What are we doing next here? Oh, I will send you my new favorite ABS clip, and we'll talk a little bit about what's going on in Major League Baseball. But first, we need to walk over to the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk and do a Sports Center update.
First on the fan, the long con Knipple has set the franchise record for three-pointers in a season for the Charlotte Hornets, leading the league now with 261 three-pointers this season, surpassing Kemba Walker.
Take that, Kemba.
I do have a futures bet going on the long con.
Yes, you
He
do.
is now jumped up tremendously in the Rookie of the Year betting odds. I got him at a plus 225. Do you want to know what he is now?
225. It's gotta be slight. I mean, he's right there with Cooper Flagg. 100.
He is a minus 1,800
What?
for the Rookie of the Year as of right now.
Well, I mean, where's Cooper Flagg?
Plus 900.
What? So he is your odds-on favorite by a landslide. Let's go. Come on.
The long con strikes again.
The long con. You got to watch out for the long con, man. You didn't know it was coming.
And for more sports scores and stories in 30 minutes, I'm Casey Smith from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk. Hurt and missing work? Insurance companies acting like jerks? Don't call your mom. Call George McCoy at warrenallen.com.
Your home for the Oregon.
I find it hard to believe that it has been just over a week since opening day, and ABS is already kind of my new favorite thing in baseball. Like, there is one thing about the bat flip and the unwritten rules of baseball and showing up your team and going out there and throwing at the guy the next inning that just, you kind of go, okay, well, I can see the guys not wanting to be shown up, not going out after a pitcher and puffing out your chest and bouncing around the base paths. I kind of get that. I like the bat flip. I like the excitement. You just hit a home run. Like, you lost, I won, I should be able to celebrate. That, to me, is always kind of the side that I've landed on, but at least I understand the other side of it. Dude, this ABS challenge system, you just sent me the Wilson Contreras. I just sent you the Ozzy Albies.
Albies. Ozzy Albies.
Albies. What am I saying?
Abiles. You're
saying... No, I'm not. Albies.
L goes after.
Albies.
Before the B.
Ablies?
Albies.
Albies. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You're just... Okay. Albies.
Correct.
Ozzy Albies. So, these are two of my favorite walks that I've ever seen. This is guys at the plate getting called out on a third strike, full count, and on their way down to first, patting the top of the helmet. Then, and this is something that people might not like about baseball, but everybody wears all that protective gear. and just pulling it off.
Got the
and
leg strap, the
chuck-
arm guard.
But having it, this is my first time I've been like, ooh, I kind of like this stuff. Because you get down to first base and you have to unarmor and pull out your little oven mitt so that you can slide into second without ruining a cuticle or whatever it is. But dude, the confidence in which batters are walking away, knowing that it's ball 4, looking back, this is way more than a bat flip showing up an opposing pitcher.
It's a strut.
It 100% is, but it's you against the umpire. That can't make the other team feel bad. That can't make the fans feel bad. I've mentioned on these airwaves before, there was a time where I went to the arena to cheer on the referees for NBA basketball games. I worked at the Marriott downtown waterfront. That was the preferred hotel destination for the NBA officials. They would all stay there. Got to be friends with a couple of them. They would occasionally give me tickets to the game that they weren't using. You get 4 tickets and you get your buddies, and you're sitting where all the referees sit and all the officials' families and friends or whatever. The one rule: do not say anything bad about the officials. They gave us a ticket. So we would go and just cheer.
That's a good rule.
For the
That's a
NBA
very good
referees.
rule.
Nobody cheers for the umpires. Let's be honest. We want the right call, but nobody is excited for these guys to be right all the time. This is just a blatant, you were wrong, I was right, there's the tap, take all my gear. The Wilson Contreras bat toss and then the little pirouette is so good.
I love the no look on all of them. Is the fact that the second that I get out of that box, this umpire isn't going to get any of my attention.
Yep.
I'm going to touch that first base, and the second...
It's just the little pivot, because Albiaz does the same thing. It's the little pivot, the tap on the helmet, and then he slowly takes off all of his gear, and he is walking down. These challenges are taking, like 5 to 10 seconds. They don't take very much time at all. Enough time for you to saunter down with all the arrogance to first base, and I'm here for it. I love it. It's fantastic.
The Contreras one, he is walking, and you can tell Contreras wants to look back, but he's just making it very known, not giving this umpire any time. I'm walking it out and stared out.
You know what the equivalent would be, I think, of if you have not seen these, picture a three-point shooter throwing it up, turning before it gets to the hoop, and walking back, and it just going swish. I don't know how you do that to an umpire, a referee in basketball, but they're doing it to the umpires in baseball, and it is spectacular.
That's like going up for a shot and yelling "and one" before, as the whistle is getting blown.
Maybe, but again, that's still on the guy trying to foul you to stop you. This is the first time I could think of in sports where this, and I don't know if the MLB is happy about it. I'm sure the umpires union isn't happy about it. You have made it a direct combatant between player and umpire. It's me versus you, brother. It's pretty entertaining. I'm having a hard time when I see a clip or a headline or a little, tweet that is, look what happened with ABS. Like if ABS is in there, I'm going to it. I'm drawn to it.
The mental aspect of that, I bet, drives pitchers crazy. Because pitching is obviously such a mental aspect of it.
Sure, yeah.
I bet that drives every pitcher crazy because it's an umpire taking a pitcher's moment away from them.
Yes and no, because it happens so quick. I do appreciate the fact that it has to be an immediate response. And it's so difficult to watch your hitter, as a fan, watching your hitter get rung up when they think it's a walk and there's nothing they can do about it. Like all of these guys are conditioned that, well, what am I going to do? And sometimes they'll turn around, they'll yell at the guy and get tossed, or their manager will come in and get tossed. That has been eliminated, and I knew I was right. Randy Arozarena had one of these the other day, and it was early in the innings. The broadcasters are debating whether or not he should have taken a challenge there because it's only the fourth inning, and it would have been the first, whatever. Like, it's all of these things. Here's my expectation, is that pitchers will get caught up on this. They will eventually, because it's pitchers, catchers, and hitters are the only ones that can challenge these. I don't think it will be terribly long before some of these pitchers start trying or start figuring out when and where to use it. I think a lot of times pitchers are, you've got a lot to think about. You let go of the ball, you don't know if it's coming back at you. You don't know if it's hitting your spot exactly. They have, I think, the most to think about in the process of it. Not least of which is a 109 mile an hour ball coming back at your face, and you've just gotten yourself 8 feet closer because you have such a leg kick and strep down the thing, and there you are, or broken bat pieces coming at you. They've got by far the most to think about. So for them to be able to then add in one more thing, I think will take a little bit more time. But by the time we get to August and September, I'd be surprised if you don't have pitchers that are getting really good at it, because baseball is one of those things where everybody chases those little edges, those little advantages, those little ability. Like a strike can change the entire feel of a game.
Yep.
A single strike.
A single strike can change the entire feel of an at-bat.
Well, forget it. It can change an entire game. Like the at-bat, yes. The inning, yes. It can change a game. Like if you get that call, wait till we have somebody that you're pitching and you throw what you think is a strike to be a no-hitter, a perfect game, something like that. The amount of edge and nerves that there's going to be. Baltimore won the first game with a game-deciding ABS challenge just the other day. So there's going to be a lot of these. It's a game within the game, and it's certainly not taking away from the enjoyment. So if you're looking for another reason to go out there, and I don't know if there's betting lines on who will win the first ABS challenge of the game or the day or how many there will be, but I'd be very surprised if there wasn't, because you just added a whole nother layer for fans to be interested in baseball. And listen, I use the words fans loosely, but if you can start live betting ABS challenges, I wouldn't be surprised.
Yes, you can bet on outcomes influenced by the ABS challenge system.
I knew you could. I knew that you could. And if you could, then there are people that would. So it makes sense to me. Here's one thing that I am not happy with baseball right now. Do you know how many how many pitches were thrown last year that were knuckleballs? In Major League Baseball, how many knuckleballs were thrown?
I'm going to go with 4.
Ooh, more than that. It was, and you know what, I think I set that up incorrectly, because I know how many the most thrown by a single pitcher. But there was right around 100. A lot of those were by position players who came in at the end of games, so I'm going to eliminate those. There was one true knuckleballer, and he had one start and threw 77 pitches. That is not a lot.
No, it is not.
I do desperately need the return of the knuckleball to baseball. It is one of those things. Speaking of comparisons, trying to figure out what the ABS challenge is as you're walking down to first with the arrogance of going, you're wrong. I don't know what the equivalent to a knuckleballer is in any other sport. It is such a unique thing. There are only a handful of guys that have ever done it successfully. There is one Cy Young winner. There is not a lot of guys that have been able to sustain a career by doing it. But do you know what happened today in Tacoma?
Hit me with it.
2 knuckleballers facing off. Yes, right there. So the one pitcher that threw 77 pitches in Major League Baseball last year is a guy named Matt Waldron. He pitches for the Padres, and right now he is pitching for whatever their AAA affiliate is. But they ran into it. So he had one start before he was sent down last year. He was injured for the first half of the year, called up, had the one outing, threw 77 knuckleballs, was sent back down. So Matt Waldron,
the El Paso Chihuahua.
That's right. I have it right there. And he threw up against Gabe Moser for the Tacoma Rainiers. Moser only threw 26% of his pitches as knuckleballs, but that's enough apparently to be qualified as a knuckleballer. There's not a lot of guys in the pipeline, but there is a dude named Kenny Surwa. Apparently, he holds a record for the fastest knuckleball thrown at 88 miles an hour. That's per The Athletic, and I guess there was some viral video that went out where R.A. Dickey gave him a shout-out, but he is in some sort of baseball training center somewhere trying to master it. But that dude is moving up in the Tigers organization. He's out chucking almost 90-mile-an-hour knuckleballs to complement his mid-90s fastball, to complement his low 80s knuckleball. So he throws 2 versions of knuckleball and a 95-mile-an-hour fastball. Please, let's
And
get
he's
this kid
not
up.
the fastest anymore, as Minnesota Twins prospect Corey Lewis has the fastest documented knuckleball, reaching 87 to 88 miles per hour.
I'm telling you,
in
this
spring
guy for the
training.
Tigers threw it 88. 87 isn't faster than 88. Threw it 88 and a half miles an hour.
I'm looking here. It says it surpasses Waldron.
All right.
Because Waldron is clocked at 84.2.
I've got him clocked at 88. So whatever AI hallucination you're looking at, listen, we can argue about it. I watched a video earlier today. This is how much I love the knuckleball. If I would have been a little bit better at it, I could throw a ball that would like knuckle a little bit. I could never get it to move. I would have loved to have figured out how to throw a knuckleball. That thing is, when people get it, it is outstanding. Regardless of who throws the fast one, there were 13 pitchers, I believe, in minor league baseball that threw knuckleballs last year. Can we please get a few of those guys up?
Bring
it's
it
too
back.
much fun. The giant glove that the catchers have to wear, the befuddled looks. It's a whole thing. It's not some. I know velocity is important. I know spin rate is important. This is one of the unique things in sport that I would like to have back. That's my new love of baseball and my old love that I would like to have back. That's my plea to you, the dear listeners, that can do absolutely nothing about it. But if you can, help me out with that. All right. We need to talk about the Cleveland Browns. I mean, they're not even doing anything, and they're doing it wrong. Like, it's just is there
Cleveland being Cleveland.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
I think I do.
It's so stupid and so funny. If it was any other team, you'd just go, bummer. The fact that it's the Browns. Oh, brother. We'll talk about that next. It is Happy Hour, bonus hour on 105.1 and the Fan Sports Network.
The Fan.
Well, kids, if you're looking for Duck Insider, it is over on 910 ESPN Portland in the form of a Ducks baseball game. That's the only way you're going to get it. You and I both had the same realization that today's show was absolutely flying by. I got so hyped about the Fire news. Can't believe they would do that. I mean, just go out. If you didn't hear earlier, the first pick in the expansion draft for the Portland Fire was to take the only Ontario Canadian born in the expansion draft from the Toronto, Ontario team. Cold-hearted. I kind of love it.
I kind of love it because now you might trade back that draft pick for it.
Yeah, there you go. Hey,
Lost
yeah,
the
would
coin
you like
toss, but
to?
still got the outcome you wanted.
I still think the person that's probably going to be the most upset is this poor gal that was like, I'm going to go to Toronto. No, you're not. Not so fast. Not so fast. Hey, new head coach of the Cleveland Browns is a guy named Todd Monken. Have you ever heard of Todd Monken before? What a name, dude. Like, you ever think about just disqualifying a guy, like when you see the name, you're like, Monken? Like, it doesn't sound like a head coach. Get him out of here. And then you look at his face and you go, I don't know if I want that guy either. But here's the thing. If you're planning to go and look at his face based on my description of it, and you want to go and look at the picture taking at the league meetings, you're not going to find Mr. Monken in that picture. He was too busy going and getting a haircut for the photo that he missed the photo. So here's the plan that Todd Monken had at the NFL league meetings. He decided that he was going to skip a coach's meeting so that he can go and get a haircut so he looked really good, so he could represent the Cleveland Browns as only he can, to show that it's a new era in Cleveland. And all of those quarterbacks cycling through, all of those disappointing years, all of those decisions that have been questioned over the years, well, I'll tell you what, hiring Todd Monken won't be one of those. And then that meeting that he skipped so he can go get a haircut wrapped up a little bit early. All the coaches looked at each other and they're like, hey, should we just shoot the photo right now? And they did. And now that photo is Monkenless. Oh my, it's just such a Cleveland Brown things to do. It's just any other team missing the photo. I think you excuse them. Dude, this is the way the new era starts. You just got rid of a two-time coach of the year in Kevin Stefanski. You had a quarterback that finally won you a playoff game. I believe he's in Tampa Bay. You signed a guy for $200 million guaranteed that is now competing with Shedeur Sanders and Dylan Gabriel, who you both took in last year's draft after signing Joe Flacco to be your starter. They're all going to compete.
Let's not
for
forget
the quarterback
that
position.
I think a week ago, it was the Cleveland Browns who suggested that they should be able to trade draft picks 5 years out in the future, which got quickly turned down, and then
They pulled it off the table. It was so ridiculed that they ended up pulling it off the table. I mean, the Browns' offseason is just one of those that constantly you just go, what? Like, can you get out of your own way? And it does not feel like they can. And I know this is probably not that big of a deal. It's just a photo. I get all of that. But it feels to me like they just are constantly one misstep after another. We talked about the Raiders the other day. They went and changed coaches, and they went out and spent a lot of money in free agency. That feels like a team that is going to be completely reshaped by the time we get to the start of next season. They have the first overall draft pick. They've got a lot of things that seem to be going in their direction. I could be wrong. The Raiders could end up being terrible. The problem is the Raiders are going to go from terrible to mediocre. The problem with the Browns is they tend to only wallow in this little mediocrity pool. You have the defensive player of the year. You have the new sack king. You've got this guy that is this great trading piece. And I know that the trade fell through, but the Raiders were willing to trade Max Crosby because they knew they'd get a haul back. Imagine what the Browns would get if they tried to trade Myles Garrett. How many draft picks would you give up?
4 or 5.
All of them?
All 7?
Yeah, like if you can trade 3 draft picks or number 1 draft picks for Myles Garrett, I think a lot of teams would be interested. You would go out and at least consider that. The Browns aren't even thinking about it. They're just looking at it and going, I think we got what we need to win right now. And they keep fumbling their way into the same scenario every year. That division, I'm sorry, I know your Steelers are in it. That division is not great right now. Were the Cincinnati Bengals in the Super Bowl just a few years ago? Absolutely, they were. But all they have done is not protect their quarterback that they're paying $60 million and not give him any sort of defense, and they keep missing the postseason despite your quarterback and wide receiver playing like superheroes when they're available to be out there. You just lost coaches for two of the other teams after 18 and 19 years?
18 and 19.
18 and 19 years, John Harbaugh gone, Tomlin gone. You've just seen them turn over the longest tenures in the NFL because they've been mediocre. They were both good at times, and they both felt like they went into the postseason with some chances. I think the problem they had is they held on to the same thing too long because they were pretty good, and they just couldn't figure out how to win in the postseason, but at least the teams moved on. You guys finally found out how to win in the postseason. You got rid of your quarterback immediately so he could float around the league for a little bit. Dude, as soon as he showed up in Los Angeles, they put him in. He didn't even know the playbook. He was learning the offense as he flew to Los Angeles. Within a second, he was good. Now, I don't know what that says for Carolina, which was the stop before that, because they had both Baker Mayfield and Sam Darnold on the roster and couldn't figure that out. They decided that they would go for a kid that was 5'9" and 128 pounds. But this is not about Carolina. This is just, I don't think it takes a whole ton of effort to look at some professional sports teams and go, you're doing it wrong. You're doing it wrong. I know we rip apart the Blazers and try to figure out what they're doing. I know that they've had a rough go lately. They were forced into making a change by the Allen Trust, and we always knew that was coming. So you knew it was going to be kind of a weird little run. Injuries caused a lot of that, whatever. I never thought they were one of the most dysfunctional organizations out there. Would you like them to be better? Of course you would. But there's not a lot of teams that win championships. Do you know what percentage of teams have won championships since 2025? Or I'm sorry, since 2000. So in the last 25 years, my brain only working so well.
I'm guessing a very small percentage.
It's less than half of the teams in sports have won in a 25-year period. It's not, oh, you haven't won in a while, it's your turn. That's not the way it works. Most teams, most organizations, most fan bases are disappointed every single year. Blazers have been among them for a very long time, and I'm sorry about that. I get that. But, dude, would you like to trade places with Browns fans? They won a championship in the 1950s. Cool.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, that sounds...
I don't feel bad for Browns fans. I don't wish you any good health or anything.
The best thing that could have happened to
them
them
is... I don't wish you good. Keep doing you.
When they moved to Baltimore, they should have never asked for them back. I don't know what's going to happen when the Sonics go back to Seattle, but man, if it's half as bad as the Browns, you'll wish they never came back. They're just an embarrassment, and I feel bad for it. But hey, that's been the bonus hour, kids. We need to get into our normal shenanigans. We will do that next. You are listening to Happy Hour on 105.1 and the Fan Sports Network.
From the George McCoy and Warren Allen Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on the Fan Sports Network, 105.1 FM and 1080 AM.
First on the Fan, we are just one day away from the Final Four matchups as Illinois and UConn will get things started tomorrow at 3 p.m., while the 1 seeds, Michigan and Arizona, will clash just after 5:30 p.m. Both Michigan and Illinois come into the matchups as narrow 1.5-point favorites. Some more college basketball news for you as Tommy Lloyd is staying in Arizona on a new 5-year deal. The Wildcats head coach was potentially linked to taking a position at North Carolina, and according to Pete Thamel, this new deal with Arizona will make him one of the 5 highest paid coaches in college basketball. Your Portland Fire wrapped up their expansion draft earlier this afternoon, and with the first pick in the expansion draft, the Portland Fire selected Bridget Carrollton. The Canadian-born forward averaged 6.5 points, 3.6 rebounds, and 2 assists per game through 6 seasons with the Minnesota Lynx. Your Portland Trailblazers took down the New Orleans Pelicans 118-106 yesterday, as Drew Holiday and Denny Avdia led the way once again for Portland as they combined for 53 points in the contest. Blazers have the weekend off as they will travel to Denver for a Monday night matchup against the Nuggets. Finally, some NBA news for you as Luka Doncic exited the Lakers' Thursday loss to the Thunder early due to a strained left hamstring, and he was ruled out for the remainder of the game as Doncic is set to undergo an MRI today to determine the extent of the injury. And for more sports scores and stories in 30 minutes, I'm Casey Smith from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk. Hurt and missing work? Insurance companies acting like jerks? Don't call your mom. Call George McCoy at warrenallen.com.
Hey, it's on. Look, it's on. Oh.
Happy Friday, all you beautiful radio listeners. Thank you for dropping in on our little happy hour. We appreciate you listening. If you are watching us on YouTube, here's a hand gesture just for you. You're welcome. If you're on YouTube, feel free to hit us up on the chat. If you're listening on the radio on 105.1 FM, 1080 AM, on 1051thefan.com, Odyssey.com, the Odyssey app, or you just asked your smart speaker to break down the Fire's expansion draft, well, you're in the right place. Use the fan text line, though, 503-2GO-FAN. That's 503-864-6326. Use it. Use the chat, use the text, use it to share your thoughts, ask questions, solicit advice, or answer me this, dear listeners. You guys going to be okay next week? Casey, I'm out. Are you going to miss me?
I'll miss you, but I'll live.
Okay. You'll survive. Well, I'm worried about the listeners. I think you'll be okay. You got a whole nother show to do. I realize that. And you have to babysit whoever's sitting in here for me. That's going to be no easy task. I'm sure you'll be happy when I'm back. But, we've been doing this show, you and I, for a couple months, it feels like. Going to miss me?
I'm going to miss you.
Ah, that's what I wanted to hear. I mean, I have to fish for compliments, but hey, I will take it as a compliment. It is spring break. I'm going to bookend it with 2 lacrosse games that I'm going to be coaching. Thunderwolves in full force, taking on East Portland lacrosse tomorrow. 2 games. Oh, man. Then we're going to do a little California trip. Should be fun. So looking forward to that. We'll try to squeeze in some golf and get that. Should be a very good time. Speaking of good times, you ever been to Pittsburgh?
Yes, I have.
Pittsburgh is getting ready to welcome the nation to the unofficial beginning of the football season, and the city's kickoff celebration will begin with an unforgettable invite-only night of music. The night before takes place Wednesday, April 22nd at the Rivers Casino Event Center, featuring Jason Aldean, John Morgan, Shane Prophet. Go to odyssey.com/thenightbefore to enter now for your chance to win this national contest. The prize includes round-trip airfare, a 2-night hotel stay, and 2 tickets to the show. You should probably do that. Speaking of, are you starting to get any excitement around the NFL draft?
Oh, I'm fully ready.
How many draft picks do your Pittsburgh Steelers have?
I believe we have 6, I want to say.
Okay. Seahawks currently sitting with 4. This is not supposed to be a great draft. The weirdest thing is every time I listen to any analysis of this draft, they start talking about next year's draft. It's going to be a weird one. It's going to be a fun one. What do you think of the way the NFL has taken to moving this around the NFL cities? Because in my opinion, it's been, since it moved out of Radio City Music Hall, it has certainly turned into a party. It has become this big event that you're doing. But, I've never been to Pittsburgh. I've been to Philadelphia, who hosted it. I've been to Nashville, who's hosted it. I believe Nashville's hosted it. I mean, those cities feel like they're custom built for it. Is this something that, let's say it's in Seattle, I don't know what your connection is to Pittsburgh. Have you ever thought about going to the draft? Because the more I watch of these, the more I'm like, it looks like kind of a party.
The one thing I will say is I got the chance to go to Pittsburgh to watch a Steelers game a few years ago. Pittsburgh people love their football. They love their Steelers.
Yes, they do.
And it is a fun environment to be around because not only is Pittsburgh a really fun city just for local pubs, bars, all that stuff, but just the environment of all, again, Steelers fans. These are my people.
Well, you mentioned a couple weeks ago, or was it last week, they're shutting down the schools and doing remote learning in all the Pittsburgh public schools the day of or the week of the draft? The week of the draft. That's what I thought you said.
Yep.
The week of the draft, public schools are everybody's staying home and they're going remote. Think they're going to take this seriously? I mean, contest or not, it might be worth going to Pittsburgh.
And the Steelers have 12 draft picks.
You were close.
You were only half off.
Hey, you tried your best. Obviously, a big Steelers fan. What are your biggest positions of need?
Cornerback, receiver.
You have 12 draft picks and just fire your coach. What position do you not need help at?
Receiver.
Okay.
Because we loaded up on that during free agency.
We got DK Metcalf. I mean,
And
yes,
Michael Pittman.
he's going to slap a couple fans and miss a couple games, but other than that, he's pretty reliable, except for the catching, and maybe he'll take off his helmet and swing it at somebody
That's
during
why you
a
got
joint
Michael
practice.
Pittman. No, I think we do need to load up at the running back position because Jalen Warren and Rico Dowdle, you don't necessarily know what that's going to be. I think you beef up the O-line as much as possible. You lost Isaac Seumalo, Oregon State grad, in the free agency this past. So I think there's a lot of choices you could make in the draft. I don't think wrong choices.
The reason I wanted you to go through that, I just love the optimism the draft brings. It's if you're a team at the bottom, you're getting one of these top 10 picks, and this draft might only be 10 deep. There might be 10 stars, if that many in this draft. There might be, 70 guys that have starting potential, but there's not a lot of stars in this draft. It is light at certain positions, and it is light on superstars. And some of the superstars fall into positions that aren't like high-value positions. Caleb Downs and Jeremiah Love and some of those guys. The running back, safeties are not high-priced positions, and they're not something that people tend to move up for. So it just makes it kind of interesting. So some among the top players are not the most valuable positions. So it'll be a kind of a funky draft. But for me, it's just that feeling of, we've got something now if we get this guy. And then what happens is they make the draft pick. And one analyst is going to be like, this is a great pick for them. This is going to be awesome. And you're like, we just saved our franchise. And then somebody else will be like, yeah, but he's pretty deficient in this area. And you're like, no, we got the wrong guy.
Need I remind you?
I love it.
Kenny Pickett was drafted a few years ago.
Kenny Two Gloves was pretty good for a little while.
He's got himself a Super Bowl ring.
Yep. So, there you have it. Should we do some in case you missed it?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. In case you missed it, Royals rookie catcher Carter Jensen slept completely through his alarm and missed the start of a game, causing widespread panic for the team. It got so bad, the Royals actually called his parents to make sure he was still alive. But don't worry, the terrifying missing persons case ended up being just fine. It was just a 22-year-old that never learned the difference between AM and PM. It's okay. It's not that. Of course, it makes it better when you have Salvi Perez, who you just throw back into the starting lineup. And to think people gave the Astros such a hard time when they wired themselves with their buzzers. They weren't actually cheating. They were just, giving a little electric shock to make sure they didn't sleep through an at-bat. It wasn't as bad as you thought. In case you missed it, newly released body cam footage from Tiger Woods' DUI arrest shows the bewildered golfer claiming that he was speaking to President Trump following the rollover crash. According to sources, the president reportedly told Tiger that if he were driving the car, he would have flipped the Range Rover much higher and much further. It would have been a much better flip. I would have rolled that car. Tiger's longtime manager also jokingly remarked to officers that the putter inside the smashed SUV was worth more than your houses. It's hard to believe that Tiger is struggling with sobriety when he's surrounded by people that clearly are so grounded and have a good perspective on life. I don't know why that would... Weird. People like that. How could things go wrong? In case you missed it, Bam Adebayo said that he thinks his 83-point night changed his reputation from a defensive specialist to a two-way superstar. Congrats on the rebrand for Bam, but unfortunately, you didn't just change your reputation. You also killed the reputation of the number 83. I mean, this is tough. That was my high school football number, and now instead of representing a backup slot receiver with a dream, it's just the official number of bullying people that can't fight back like the Washington Wizards. Thanks a lot, jerk. I can't even go into Applebee's and point out my framed jersey above the doorway without feeling like a war criminal, that number 83 staring back at me. Bam, you did nobody any favors, jerk. We don't even need to get into the Kobe stuff. In case you missed it, an illness kept Anthony Edwards out of the game against Detroit last night. That means he will not play 65 games, making him ineligible for NBA postseason awards. A tough pill to swallow for fans and Ants since he already plays for the Minnesota Timberwolves, making him ineligible for NBA postseason success. So that's... And finally, in case you missed it, Donovan Clingan just shattered Robin Lopez's single-season franchise record for most offensive rebounds in a season. He is currently sitting at 329. Hell yeah! Just to put that in perspective, 329 offensive boards ties him with Bill Laimbeer, DeAndre Jordan, Popeye Jones for 138th most offensive rebounds in a season ever. Start building a statue for this guy. Got a few games left. If he really tears it up, he might make it into the top 120 seasons ever. No? This is legendary stuff. Remember, the Portland Trail Blazers are famous for drafting centers with high picks. So no? Should I say infamous? Would that be more appropriate? No. All right. Well, thank you to our wonderful studio audience for joining us. Hey, at 2:30, I'm very excited about this. We have Aiden McCluskey. He is a comedian that is going to be at Helium tonight and tomorrow night. He has been a contributor with Barstool Sports. He's also the youngest person to win Acme's Funniest Person contest. So he's going to join us in about 12 minutes or so. But right now, we need to get to some stories about the Pirates, about the Mavericks, about the Pistons. Oh, my. It's going to be exciting when we do the Daily Buzz. Next, you're listening to Happy Hour on 105.1 The Fan.
The new home.
All right, kids, and I do mean kids. The Pirates phenom, 19-year-old Connor Griffin. The last report I saw was they were nearing a 9-year, $140 million extension for the 19-year-old shortstop who is making his debut today. That game is actually underway right now. The Pirates have a 4-0 lead on the Baltimore Orioles. Care to guess how Connor Griffin is doing, Mr. Smith?
I'm guessing he's doing pretty good.
1 for 1 with an RBI double. He is the greatest baseball player in history. Batting 1,000. RBI in his first at-bat. Yeah, the 19-year-old shortstop making an impact right away. He is just the 13th teenager to reach the majors since the year 2000. So we'll keep an eye on what he's doing for the rest of the show, the rest of the day, and probably the rest of our lives.
The Buzz.
Let's move on to a little tough news for the Lakers. Luka Doncic, not only did the Lakers get absolutely housed by the Thunder, but the player who has just put himself into the MVP conversation after a 600-point march pulled up lame with a hamstring. Have you seen any updates on this? Because I was actually trying to get to it. So he left last night's game early against the Thunder with a hamstring. The Thunder put up like 900 points in the first half of that game. Absolutely housed the Lakers. So they probably listened to this show and heard me get excited about what the Lakers might become as the season continues and just went out there and massacred them.
Yeah, supposed to undergo an MRI today.
Yeah.
Still no update yet.
All right, yeah. He played 26 minutes, 12 points, 6 turnovers before he left the game yesterday.
The Buzz.
Bad news for your boy, Cade Cunningham. Sounds like he's going to be out another week with that collapsed lung, so things not looking great for the recovery for Cade Cunningham. At this point, I think you're just hoping to have him back and ready to go. I mean, back is one thing, ready to go another thing when you're recovering from a collapsed lung, but for the postseason. So the Pistons, the number 1 seed for most of the season, almost the entire season in the Eastern Conference. Not as good without Cade Cunningham, so you hope that he will be back and they can, get that playoff experience and see if they can make a run. But right now, not looking good. But we talked about that yesterday. Collapsed lung sounds like it's probably a pretty bad thing.
The Buzz.
Stephon Gilmore no longer playing in the NFL. He retires after 13 seasons. 5-time Pro Bowler, former Defensive Player of the Year. He was greatness, and it just shows you that the NFL is always means not for long. A 13-year NFL career is a pretty good run. Outside of a few guys that play a very protected position of quarterback, there's not a lot of guys that have a ton of longevity. He retires with 149 pass breakups, 32 interceptions, and 180 NFL appearances. Hall of Famer?
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, no doubt.
No question.
Of those 180 games that he played, he started 173 of them.
Pretty good at football, that dude.
The Buzz.
And, hey, do you want to share, everybody, the rest of the details on it? But the Fire have made their draft pick selections. We actually have a roster in the Rose City. The the Fire went out and made their first selection. Bridget, I want to say Carlton. Bridget Carlton, who they snagged from the Toronto Tempo, and she was born in Ontario. I absolutely love that. Who else did we get? Is the team going to be awesome?
Bear with me on some of these pronunciations. I apologize in advance. Carla Late, Louisa Geiselsoder.
Cool. Well, that's listen.
Maya Caldwell,
if
Chloe
it's going to
Bibby.
be you stumbling through pronunciations of names that we don't know,
That was just the one hard one.
All we need to do is catch the fever. The WNBA returns to Portland. Get the excitement. We had the press conference for new ownership for the Blazers. We've got the new roster for the Fire. It's a new era of basketball in Rip City. Who's not excited about that? Hey, I'm going to wrap this up a little bit early because I'm looking. We've got Aiden McCluskey outside. He is, like I said, the youngest Acme funniest person ever. So we're going to get him in here, and we're going to kind of wrap up the week the way that we like to, with a little comedy. We'll talk a little sports. It should be a good time. We'll get him in here. But first, we've got duties. We got to walk over to the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk. Let's see what we missed.
I know we talked a little bit about it yesterday, but the NBA straw poll MVP results have been calculated.
Okay.
As SGA comes in as the favorite with 88 first place votes. The second next person, Victor Wembanyama, with 8 votes.
Hey, listen, he's campaigning for it. He's 22 years old, and, we can say what we want about campaigning for awards, and I know Joe Mazzulla has his opinions on it. But, hey, it's something that he wants real bad, and he's not afraid to go out and say it. I'm not really upset about that at all. My big fear is that dude really wants to win. He also happens to be a 7'4" gazelle that runs up and down the court like nobody we've ever seen at that size. So it should be scary for the rest of the league.
Well, if he wants his MVP, it looks like he'll have to wait till next year.
Well, we'll see. We'll see.
And for more sports scores and stories in 30 minutes, I'm Casey Smith from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk. Hurt, missing work? Insurance companies acting like jerks? Don't call your mom. Call George McCoy at WarrenAllen.com.
Your home for Seahawks football.
All right, welcome in, kids. When you read somebody's bio, you get real excited about it. It's, we always try to let everybody know that we are a sports radio show, and we're excited to talk sports. Well, I read the bio of Aiden McCluskey, and I watch his stand-up, and I'm like, this is a funny dude. and I see that he was a part of a pyramid scheme in Vegas before he moved out. That checks some of the boxes that I have lived in my own life. He has won the funniest person contest and was one of the youngest people to do that, something I did not do and very jealous of when I did stand up. And then he's been a contributor to Barstool Sports. So I'm like, we're checking all the boxes.
Yeah.
But Aiden, you just told me that you are not a sports fan. How the hell did you get linked in with Barstool if you're not a sports guy? You're just that funny?
Well, I mean, I posted a joke a while ago, and it went kind of viral. And then Harry Settled, a little sass from Barstool, he had commented on it and followed me after. And then I threw just a message out. I'm like, have you ever come to Minnesota? I would love to open for you.
Yeah.
And then down the line, just out of the blue, he was like, hey, are you near Detroit? And it was on a Saturday night.
Yeah.
And I was like, I can be.
Yeah. Where were you that you could be? Like you
I was in Pennsylvania. I was
I
was doing these like horrible road gigs, and I was out in Pennsylvania.
Yeah. And if you were in Pittsburgh or Philadelphia, you would have said that. So you're in like middle
I was
of nowhere.
in 84. It was a town called 84.
The town is a number?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Oh boy. So you were beyond letters. You missed the
I was
alphabet.
at the numbers. Yeah.
Wow. I didn't even know that was a thing.
So I was in 84 at a roadway, and he like DMs me on a Saturday, and he's like, could you be in Detroit?
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, I could do that, because
Yeah.
I really don't want to do the show tonight.
Yeah, no kidding.
Because the night previous, I got there, and I was like, do you guys have sound equipment? And they were like, no, we thought you brought that.
Wow.
So I like called my mom, and I'm like, hey, do you still have that Sam's Club membership? And she was like, yeah.
Nice.
So I went to Sam's Club, got a karaoke machine.
That's fantastic.
Brought it to the show, didn't really know how it worked.
Yeah,
So I just turned
nice.
it on, and it was just every word I said would flash lights behind me.
Yes, please. Are you still using that for every show that
No.
you do? What? Oh, man.
I bombed so bad that night. It was just like colors flashing my silhouette on the wall. It was so lonely. And then I put it back in the box, brought it
Sure,
back
of course
to
you did.
Sam's
Yeah, you're like,
Club.
oh, yeah, it wasn't what I was looking for.
Yeah, I was like, it doesn't work, and I
Yeah.
returned it.
Yeah,
So-
yeah. If you had killed, then we would still have that as part of your
probably.
act. But
I
yeah.
would be like, oh, that works.
Yeah, no kidding. Well, yeah, the flashing light. It's like it gave two guys seizures, but everybody else thought it was hilarious. which
Yeah,
was
I mean, two
fantastic.
people fell out of their chairs. I don't know if they were laughing or...
Yeah, exactly. I was knocking them dead.
Yeah.
Like literally, they brought it to the ambulance. I killed. That was great. So you make it up to Detroit. And
then he had me feature for him because for some reason the club did not book a feature for him the night previous.
Yeah.
So I featured there, and then he was like, yeah, any other shows that you want to do with
Nice.
me, just let me know. And I did his Chicago when he was at Zany's, and Barstool is based there. So I was
I always thought it was Boston.
they have a place in New York, and then
They're
they
in
have
New York
one
and Chicago.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then
like, isn't old what's his face Bostonian?
Yeah,
Portnoy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, what do I know?
So then, while I was there working the weekend at Zany's with them, they had stuff all during the day doing podcasts and whatnot, and I didn't have anything going on. So they're like, well, just...
So you just did the circuit?
So they were just like, well, come by and hang out at the studio, and then
Yeah.
before I knew it, I'm sitting down on the podcast with them. So, yeah,
All
it's fun. They're cool dudes. Initially I was like, well, I don't drink and I don't know sports, so I don't really know how this is going to go. But
Well, you're in the right place today. We've got a party with beer right afterwards where everybody's going to be drinking, and we're talking sports here. So you are at the right place right now, my friend. This is Aiden McCluskey. He is a comic performing at Helium. 2 shows tonight, 2 shows tomorrow night, 7:30 and 9:45 tonight, 7:30 and 10 tomorrow. We were talking a little bit about how you got started. So you started when you were 19 before you took a little hiatus.
Yeah.
And then came back just a couple years ago. So you're still pretty young. What, 27?
27. Yeah,
okay.
I just turned 27 a few months ago.
So what's it like being out on the road and doing this? I mean, have you been to Portland before? Is this something pretty new? Or
Yeah, I've been to Portland. There's a family buddy of mine who lives out this way with his girlfriend with his girlfriend, and so I came out here like 2 years ago just to visit him.
Okay.
Because back then I was living in my car, so I
Yeah.
was just kind of like, I'll go to Portland. I guess I'll stay with you for a little while.
There you go.
So I took a train out and I stayed with him in Portland and drove around. I love it out here. The nature, you guys you have a screensaver.
Yeah,
Sort of
but
nature.
isn't Minnesota full of nature? I mean, I went there and it was winter when I was there,
Yeah.
and I got thrown out of the Mall of America. Well, asked to leave the Mall of America. Yeah, it's a whole long story. I've told it before on the air. I don't think we need to get into it right now. This is all about you, my friend. But I was doing some stand up and ended up in the Upper Midwest in February for some reason. I couldn't tell you why.
Were you at the House of Comedy?
Honestly, I don't remember where we were. There was a lot of Jack Daniels involved, and then there was the cab showed up before the police car, and so I ended up where I was supposed to be, and then I got sunburnt because there was a Hooters gal with a tanning bed. It's a long story. I don't need to get into it. I don't have time. Like I said, this is about you. It's not an interrogation of the decision that I made. But isn't Minnesota full of nature? Was the question?
I mean,
sorry, we got a little off track.
I mean, I'm curious now, but it has spots, but it's relatively. So I grew up in like southwestern Wisconsin in what they call like the driftless area.
The driftless area.
Yeah.
So you've performed comedy in '84, and you grew up in the driftless area. What does that even mean, driftless?
So driftless, it's referring to, I guess, the glacial migration pattern was completely different there than anywhere else in the world, and so there's a lot of bluffs and like high rolling hills and things like that. So where I grew up is beautiful. It reminds me, there's certain parts that remind me of it out here.
Okay, gotcha.
But Minnesota is relatively flat.
Gotcha.
There are like further up north and like Duluth and stuff, there's some cliffs and hiking and stuff like that. But just outside of the cities where I live, there's
just pretty dull.
Yeah, it's lakes. It's a lot of lakes. But 10,000 of them apparently.
Lakes don't do much about the horizon.
No.
No. Turns out lakes are pretty flat. Like unless you're right on them, they don't do a whole lot for you. That makes sense to me. I guess I can picture that. But yeah, no, here it's absolutely beautiful. We've got this little town in what mostly is a big wide open state. So have you explored much outside of Portland?
Not really. There was I have more so in Washington.
Yeah.
Because I've done a weekend where we started in Tacoma and then drove to Spokane.
Okay, yeah.
So that was really pretty, that whole drive.
Yeah, the Snoqualmie Pass and just go through there, in the center of the state. Yeah, it's beautiful. It's one of the things that I always find fascinating about being up here is everybody thinks that the Pacific Northwest is all what it looks like west of the mountains, right? It's all the big trees and rain or whatever, but you cut through the Cascades and you go through 3-4 different climates as you pass through and going down the east slope of the mountains. So being an outsider, I grew up with it, but being an outsider, you're probably tripping out.
Unreal. I mean, to like have, I remember specifically, like on that drive, the guy was like complaining about his day, but on just the entire panoramic, it's like, this is beautiful. I don't know how you could be complaining about anything.
Well, you get used to whatever you get used to, and you learn to complain about it. That's kind of the world that we live in, isn't it? We're talking with Aiden McCluskey. So you live in Minnesota. I was so excited because today the Portland Fire, as you know, the WNBA team that we're just getting, our first draft pick was from the Minnesota Lynx. Do you have any insight on the Minnesota Lynx that you can share with our listeners?
Not a clue, dude. I couldn't gun to my head if you asked me of one player on the Lynx, I'd just say pull the trigger. Yeah. Let's save us the time.
Don't even bother. Any sports in your background? You said that you got to do the barstool thing and didn't really have much to talk about. You play sports? Do you?
I mean, I did track in high school.
Yeah.
But that was about it.
You do have the Prefontaine look. I can actually see that. Do you know who Steve Prefontaine is?
I do not.
Oh, Coos Bay legend. You got to get. Come on.
Yeah.
Gotta get. Oh yeah. He was too small to play other sports, so he decided to be a distance runner, one of the greatest ever. And then he died in a car wreck. So it's a sad story, but you've got a little bit of those vibes. So do you follow any sports at all?
The only time I really do is I watch sports like football to antagonize my friends. So I'll
do
root
explain.
for,
I kind of like this.
Yeah, so I'll root for whoever their team is playing.
Gotcha.
I'll somehow find a way to pirate it and I'll just be like sending them like, hell of a play that was.
Yeah.
And they'll be like, you got to shut up. Like, you have to stop talking. For some of the parts of the season, my friends will like block me for a little bit. And,
Yeah.
like, I just don't want to hear it. Like, because my buddy's a huge Chiefs fan.
Okay.
So rooting against him is the most fun.
Well, of course it is. I mean, they have nothing but success in recent years, but they also think that they've earned it. The funniest thing about fans to me is when their team wins, they take all the credit for it, and then when their team loses, it's everybody else's fault.
It's the players, yeah.
Well, no, it's everybody else. It's the league, it's the referees, it's the players, and it's this stupid buddy of mine that's a comic, and he's always sending me text messages to hassle me about the whole thing. So that's
yeah.
me.
When they win, it's a lot of we.
Yep. Oh yeah.
We
yeah.
did.
Yeah.
We looked great, and it's like you
Yeah.
were out there. Okay.
Yep. Oh yeah, yeah. Well, I've fallen into that trap, and I try to be self-aware, but as many times as I've tried to avoid it, I will drop it on the Blazers get a big win. I'm like, we looked really good out there, and yeah, whatever. Like, Casey, I mean, you can tell me how many times I do that during the Seahawks Super Bowl run. Was I a wee guy?
I'm a wee guy when we say Steelers. So
I know you are.
100%
Oh, so
a
I'm
wee
in
guy
good
when we
company. So you're
talk
not going to call
Seahawks.
me out on it. All right. So I get a little bit of safety on that. All right. So tell me a little bit about this adventure that you've been on. I have done so I did stand up for off and on for maybe 10, 12 years and dipped in and out of it. I never won any funniest person contest at all. And you are the youngest person ever to win Acme's funniest person contest.
Yeah.
So tell me what that little adventure was like.
So I started in 2018, the year I won, and I grew up in.
So real quick, you're 27 now.
Yeah.
So this is when you were 19.
Yeah.
Whoa. Okay.
So I started back in 2018, and I grew up in a very small town in southwestern Wisconsin. I did my first open mic in Winona at just a bar. I'd seen it advertised on Facebook. And I went, and from that, they were like, there's a club like an hour north of here called Goonies. So I was like, okay, so every Thursday I would drive an hour and a half from my parents to Goonies.
Yeah. Which is a ripoff of Oregon. I mean, come on, Goonies are from Oregon. Everybody knows that. But what are you going to do?
And then from there, I was performing like once a week, if that.
Yeah.
And they were like, Acme in Minneapolis is having a contest. You should sign up because that's the best way to get some eyes on you from the people who work at Acme. So I was like, okay. So I signed up, and they were like, don't have any sort of expectations.
Yeah.
Like, you just started, and a lot of comics sign up,
Sure.
and a lot of working comics do this contest.
Absolutely. I mean, the contests are the advice you got, that's how you get your name out there, is you win one of these, and now you've got something. I mean, it's still sitting on the top of your resume all these years later.
Yeah.
So, like, having something like that is now you've got an official comedy credit.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I went through, I did the first round, and I won that night. And they were like, okay, that's great. Like, you made it to the semifinals.
How much of your material did you use at that time? If you're only
All
doing
of
it for a little while.
All of
Yeah.
it.
So just you
Yeah.
burned all through everything I got. That's
Because
it.
it was just a 3-minute set.
Yeah.
So I did the 3 minutes that I had.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And they were like, okay, that was. So I moved on to the semifinals, and they were like, okay, that's impressive, but this is where, like, people start trailing off.
of
sort
course.
of a
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
So I went up, I did the semifinals, and I lost that night.
Yeah.
And
Same material? Or did you write?
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Same
Yeah,
exact
yeah,
material,
yeah.
like beat for beat.
Sure.
And so I lost that night, so I was like, okay, well, I'm out of the contest, but it's cumulative points. So depending on how you scored on the previous night, on like your first night, and then the second night, you could actually have more points.
Gotcha.
So I was like, I didn't know until I got the email that I was in the finals.
All right.
And I was like, oh, I actually moved on. There was only 5 people in the finals.
Gotcha.
And I think probably close to 100 people sign up.
Yeah.
And so, like, that's really impressive that you made it that far. Just be happy.
Yeah.
that you made it that
Congratulations.
far.
Yeah.
And so I drove up on the finals night, which was 2.5 hours there and 2.5 hours back.
It's,
And so I drove up. I did my 3 minutes.
how many people went with you? You're driving out there
was
by
just
yourself.
me.
Just
Yeah.
you. Oh wow.
Yeah, just me.
You couldn't talk any. I made the final of this thing. You probably pissed off all your buddies by texting them about football.
Yeah. And the thing was, I'd always heard about contests and stuff because when I started, they were like the one cop out that a lot of people they were always like, well, whoever wins, it's usually who brings the most people.
Yeah, totally.
So I was like, okay, well, I won't bring anybody.
I'll show them.
I'll see. So I'd go and I do the finals. And I won, which thank God I won because the second place thing was like a handle of Tito's, which they just like could not have given me.
Yeah. It would have been illegal for them to hand it. Yeah. So instead they just give you the dollar value. Of it. Like, we spend $40 on it. Here you go.
Yeah, it was like a handle of Tito's and then like Tito's sunglasses.
Yeah,
that were like out of the bag already.
Yeah, they were. That somebody used. Well, let's do this. I want to hear kind of. So what happened after you won? You took a hiatus and you came back. We'll give you a chance to tell people a little bit about your comedy and what they can expect if they go to Helium this weekend. We're talking with Aiden McCluskey. We'll have him join us for one more for the road, and we'll do that next. It is Happy Hour on 105.1 and the Fan Sports Network. All right, kids, welcome back in. Mr. Smith, what are the people saying on the YouTube chat and the text toy that we need to address? Any questions for young Mr. McCluskey over here?
No questions, but a lot of people talking about a referee situation and loving the walk-offs on walks.
Oh yes, yeah. I mean, it is my new favorite thing. It's watching them look at authority and go, "You don't have control over me anymore." It is absolutely the best. Showing up the officials within the rules. Oh, it's great. And I was kind of in favor of the full-time robot umps, but this is way better than I thought it would be. So let's keep that rolling. I'm going to hit the sounder because we're doing. But really all we're doing is continuing to talk with Aiden McCluskey at Helium tonight, 2 shows, tomorrow 2 shows. I'm guessing that means you have more than 3 minutes now. But before the break, we were talking about the first contest you ever entered. Just to set it up for listeners that might just be joining us, you had a tight 3 minutes after 3 months of doing stand-up comedy. You had been driving 2.5 hours round trip to go to the first round, second round where you thought you were out of the competition. You make it to the finals. You do the same 3 minutes.
Same exact.
And you win the contest.
Yeah.
And you are the funniest person 2018 for Acme Comedy.
Yeah.
So I think I know how this story goes, but just having lived adjacent to some of this and kind of what it is. But you win this contest. Now you've got this new title.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't mean you're ready to go out on the road. It doesn't mean you have any of that. So what happened after you won the contest? Because it sounds really awesome, and I think people listening think that that's like a big windfall. But was it?
I mean, they gave me $1,000. They gave me $1,000.
Hell yeah!
And
you live at home still, so it's
I was at my parents.
Yeah.
And my my girlfriend at the time, she was her family was from the Ukraine.
Okay.
And we had been together for a while, and they were like, "Well, you should go to Ukraine and meet the rest of our family."
Oh.
And the $1,000 went to paying for that flight.
So you went to get married off to a Ukrainian gal.
Yeah,
huh?
and then it just it fell apart over there. And she was the only person that spoke English.
I hope that this is in your act now.
No.
Oh, well, hey, listen, I mean, I don't need a writing credit. Maybe I do, but I will help you work that one out.
Yeah.
But let's go through that story. I'm confident that there are some gems in there. So, you and I will chat offline. We'll work on that. That's got to be in there, my friend.
I mean, that was an experience. We were over there when Russia bombed one of the boats over in the Crimea, and we were like, damn, we might not be able to leave.
But Bert Kreischer has an entire career built off a bad trip to Eastern Europe. I mean, come on, let's go. His
is way more entertaining.
We'll sharpen it up. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Don't worry. We'll get in there. So you win and take your $1,000 in prize money to go and break up with your girlfriend halfway across the world.
Yep.
And then you come back and you've got this title. What do you do with that?
Absolutely not. I was kind of like, well, I did it. So I beat stand-up comedy.
Check that off the list. Yeah. I win.
Yeah. I was like, all right, well, I did that. It's time to be a key holder at Dollar General.
Yeah, there you go.
So I just started working at Dollar General, and I was like, I had nothing going on. I was just hanging out with my buddies. We were like in college, but none of us were doing any of we all failed.
Yeah.
We were like, I don't know what we thought was going to happen. We were just like, yeah, we're in college, and they just like give you a degree.
It doesn't work that way?
No,
I never went.
I got an academic suspension after the first semester.
You paid them to academically suspend you from
essentially,
college.
yeah.
That's fantastic. Well, congratulations on that. So then at what point did you start taking comedy seriously, and when did it become a thing for you?
It was pretty much after I lost that pyramid scheme job.
Yeah.
I was just like, I don't know what to do.
What was the pyramid scheme that you got caught up in?
So have you ever been like shopping around Walmart, and then you get those people in the tech department that are like, who do you have for internet and cable?
Oh,
that was me.
Yeah. Look at you, the not Walmart employee.
Guess whose job he had before this?
Did you have that job?
That's what I did. I
sold
fans
dude.
Yeah, you did. Neither of you guys got into Cutco knives. I always think of that as the first the entry point. I didn't know about the tech one, but that's fantastic.
I had a buddy who sold us the Cutco.
Oh yeah, everybody's got one Cutco knife that they brought from their kid.
Or an Herbalife lady.
Oh yeah. I actually know somebody that's high up at Herbalife. The whole thing
man.
we don't need to get into that. So anybody listening, we're talking with Aiden McCluskey. 2 shows at Helium tonight, 2 shows tomorrow night. So let's get to where your comedy's at now. I mean, so you fail out of college, you get academically suspended. You ruin your long-term girlfriend's relationship by going to meet everybody from the Ukraine.
Yep.
You go to Vegas to join a pyramid scheme.
Yeah, to stop drinking, really.
You went to Vegas to stop drinking?
Yeah, because honestly, people drink harder in Wisconsin than they do in Vegas.
I've been to both. Yeah. You're 100% correct.
So I was like, this seems like a step down.
Yeah. Oh,
And,
totally.
Yeah, and I had a cousin who lived out there, and he was just like, "You can move out here," and I was like, "Well, I really don't have anything going
Yeah.
on." So
Yep.
I moved in with him. I got this pyramid scheme job, and then one day I just showed up, and the office was locked. Everything was like, all of the signage was
Yeah.
like ripped down, and I was like, "Damn, I don't have a job."
Yeah. Well, probably better for the long-term prospects anyways.
Yeah.
So did you get back into comedy in Las Vegas, or did you move back to Minnesota
No,
for
I
it?
just moved straight from Vegas to Minnesota because I was like, well, I think if you work
I
at-
mean, you're a Minnesota comedy legend at this point in your life.
I don't
mean,
think so.
You won the Acme contest. I mean, it's where you've got your roots. No,
Nah, I don't know, man. I don't think I'm a legend by any
I'm just
stretch
giving
of
you a
the
hard time. I'm just giving, yeah. So
I,
so you moved back to Minnesota and just dove right back into it.
yeah, I dove in. I was like, I guess Acme is the only prospect at a job that I have.
Okay.
Because I didn't have a degree. That job was gone. I didn't really know what else to do. And everybody was like, if you win the contest, that's sort of like a fast track to work there.
Sure. Yeah.
As a host. So I just moved back and was like, I'm going to be a host, I
Yeah.
guess. And that'll pay what little bills I have.
There you go.
So got hired after about like almost a year of living there, and then got promoted pretty quickly. But through working at Acme, like hosting, I met Nick Mullen, and he started bringing me
Okay.
on the road, and he helped me a lot. And Dan Soder brought me on the road, and he helped
Nice.
me a ton. And then it just kind of went from there. With those guys like helping me, it sort of like validated what I was doing, and I was like, oh, maybe I am doing the right thing with my life. So.
Yeah. So at what point did you start traveling on your own, ditch those guys, and start getting out on the road yourself?
Oh man, within the past year, because Soder recommended me to his agent, and then his agent's been helping me a lot with my own road dates. But I would love to open for them at any point again.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. I get it. So tell people what your comedy's like. I mean, if they're going to go to the show tonight, tomorrow night, and they want to check it out, what can they expect?
It's mostly stories. I also just got engaged, so there's a lot of material about me and my fiance and living with a lady.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Congratulations.
Thank you,
Yeah,
man.
of course.
And a lot of stuff about my dad, because for a while when I moved to Minneapolis, I was just so busy with stand-up, and they're 2.5 hours away, so
Sure.
I didn't get to go back. But now that I've been doing this kind of stuff and touring around, I have more free time because I don't really need a day job anymore.
Sure. Yeah.
So I've been going back and spending more time and just realizing how funny where I grew up really was and how different.
Yeah, you have to take a big step away to kind of
Yeah.
get a different perspective on it, to realize
Mhm.
how unique it is. It was funny because when I was young and stupid, I've told you a couple things off air about how dumb I was, but just had no idea how it worked and how much of a gold mine was sitting back at home
Right.
with me. But I remember almost being proud of myself when people couldn't tell where I came from.
Right, yeah.
And it was just such a stupid thing because I started doing comedy when I was 21.
Mm-hmm.
You moved to Vegas to stop drinking. I literally told, as a joke, I told everybody that I was moving to Vegas to meet a nice girl to settle down with.
Yeah.
And I met my wife there and got married.
Exactly,
and
yeah.
so exactly what I thought would be the furthest thing to happen could ever happen there actually happened. So like I'm with you. It's a weird journey that we all go on, and it sounds like you're just in the middle of it, man. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, back home, it's almost like the frog in boiling water. Like, you don't realize until you jump out of it, and then you come back, and you're like, this is, especially after traveling as much as I have, and, like, coming back, I'm like, this is different than anywhere I've ever been.
Yeah.
Growing up and listening to these stories and the people talk back home.
Oh, how many people show up because they think you're a big shot on Barstool Sports with the resume that you have and are disappointed that you don't have all your sports stories and your glory days that you show off?
Not too many. Sometimes the Barstool will draw out some bros, which is nice, but I'm not very much their vibe.
I'm shocked to hear that.
Yeah.
Again, and that was one of the first things when we started talking. I'm like, oh, so Barstool, and you're like, no, that was totally by accident.
Yeah.
But when you're young and starting out, you throw every credit that you can on
Yeah.
to get booked, and I get how it works. So it was a pleasant surprise when you were not broed out to
No.
come in here, because I don't think that fits my vibe as well. I mean, Casey for sure, Barstool guy back there, but it was a blast to talk to you. Wish you nothing nothing but luck with the shows this weekend. Aiden McCluskey, Helium, tonight, tomorrow night. Go check it out. Just go to heliumcomedy.com. And I'll be rooting for you, man.
Thank
it was
you, man.
great. Appreciate you having you on.
Of course. Thanks for coming.
Thank you
Thanks
for
for
joining
having me.
us. Thanks to everybody for listening. Of course, we have to thank Casey Smith, and it wouldn't be a show if we didn't thank Isaac Rupp. We're all done for now. I'm out all of next week, so I'll see you guys in a couple weeks. We're done for now. Bye-bye.
There's something you forgot, and that's to laugh and smile.